is an interesting strategy here. He went to go past that weight instead of taking it off and letting her lag. She's going to go for the stick.
Great stick.
Yeah, great stick for two.
And so Jeri did say that she may be aggressive early, but as both of them start to learn the board a little more, she's going to pull back a little and say, you know what, let's go ahead and go lag for lag.
Right.
Now, Josh, on the other hand, said that he is going to go hit lag, because Josh, and this is an absolutely true statement, Josh feels like he is one of the top 2-3 premier laggers in the country, which I would tend to agree with him. I mean, the guy, if he gets hot, is just disgusting.
Absolutely great lagger. You know, and you know, part of this game is having that confidence, that mental state, and you know, when you have that kind of confidence, you're able to execute those shots. Looks like Josh put a great pass shot in there. Another example of having a great feel for the end of the board.
And so it looks like really the only option here for Jeri would be to play a combo off one of her weights. So that's what he's going to cover. Is that deep weight right rail that she can possibly go in there and combo that weight out. I think that shot's pretty much gone now. Now Jeri may say, you know what, I think I can still get around that left-handed, get it out there and see if it comes back. Let's see, she's going to throw a freehand at it.
Freehand shot. Oh, barely clipped that.
I don't think Josh, I think that same weight right there is a pretty good spot.
I think Josh is going to play aggressive here.
So Josh's idea there is, I'm going to get in there and throw another deuce in there to where if she picks out a deuce, I got a deuce working. Right?
But
either way.
But now he's covered his last weight, his hammer. Now he's going to have nowhere to lag. Look at this shot.
So that'd be really disgusting if
decision time
it was.
I think Josh can get through there and stick that weight.
There's a hole there, but I don't know if either player
really knows that shot yet.
That well, and are you willing to make that shot and chip out one of your blue weights and it runs into your other blue weight? Like,
a lot of bad things can happen on a shot like this, but you know, if he can get in there and stick for 6 to,
I think he'll end up just right hand lagging, right cross lag, try to out lag her, see if he can put up a big number.
Taking a lot of time on this shot. It's a crucial shot right here.
So the kind of shots that can break open games. See what this rail does.
Yeah, I had a feeling that might fall off there.
So we've seen that rail twice. Once in the frame before that, whenever Josh threw a right cross to try to hit Jeri's weight, kind of got in that rail, flattened off, and died. And fell off the side. So that's something to keep an eye out. The other part about that is now you know that that's probably a great spot to protect your hammer, right? You throw it there, it's going to stay on that rail. It's not going to come back off.
Yep.
And now you're making somebody throw a hard left hand up the rail or throw it cross into a spot that
potentially
dumps,
stick.
Yep. So we'll see moving forward how many times Josh or Jeri protect their hammer on that side of the board.
And that's something to consider here too. This is a 2 out of 3 match here, so this isn't just one game, do or die. So in a 2 out of 3 match, there's going to be a lot of ends played, a lot of lags, a lot of weight shot at, and so being this early in the match, both players are really trying to get a feel for this board, so that later in the match, when these crucial shots come around, they can they can put up the best strategy and the best shot that they can.
So We saw Jeri get pretty aggressive there, almost trying to force action right there. And I don't know how good that go around if she knew that thing. Maybe it hangs out there if she gets it further on the rail. So you'll see Josh just kind of continue to try to protect this weight, but that's way too close right there. So
yeah, he had a solid deuce in there, covering that a couple feet away. Wouldn't have been a bad shot.
that's a great shot right there. But that is in Josh's left hand, just wheelhouse. Like, the guy's deadly up the rails with that left hand.
Yeah, he loves this shot right here.
That's what he does.
He's going to slide it to
it's sicker because now the thing looks like it's going to come back.
It's going to be a baby deuce.
He wants it to stop.
Oh, looks, wow. Be very fortunate if it stays a baby deuce.
Man.
It's in. I don't know.
It's close.
That's close.
I think it is a deuce.
And now understand that both players, have to wait until the end of the frame to get a call. So
Exactly.
she doesn't know. I mean, she's taking a look at it. Looks like she knows what she's going to do here. She looks pretty confident. But if it was real close, she might have to take a chance at, that being a called a deuce or a one. Looks like it was a deuce.
Yeah. Something to look at, like we talked about, Jeri's weights. Jeri's weights tend to drive, so you will see more often Jeri, especially if she has without the hammer and there's a really deep one, she may try to go in there and stick and drive it into it too, because her weights do get in there a little harder. On a shot like that, she's not going to try it because the chances of hitting going are high whenever you're throwing that hard.
She needs to make sure to stick that
Right.
and score there.
But something to look at with those Black Widows, with those swing tops, is they're heavy and they will drive into weights, and ones will become twos. So, is that a left cross or
looked like a left span shot?
Span? Interesting.
Kind of stayed in that lane. That's what we were talking earlier about. Some of these boards having a little bit of a crown, and the weight will be coming off the rail, heading right at it, and then kind of tail off and straighten out on you.
Let's see. This is another attempt at this right hand that we've been talking about. He's all over that one.
Yeah, it looks like if you push it to the rail, that's when you get it to fall off the side. Where if you just kind of aim it over there. It seems to fall over there pretty naturally.
And so that shot right there, if it's Jeri's hammer, she's going to go in there knowing that, man, that thing's going to bury in there. It's not going to come off that rail very much. So you will see that, I would imagine that right cross
is going to come into play later in this match.
That's going to be one that they say, hey, we're going to go after that one. No, it's not going to hook out and come all the way back out.
Right.
If anything, it's going to stay on the rail side and let somebody go ahead and try to fire up the rail and pick it out. Who cares,
Looks like Josh is lagging here with his hammer, come up a little short. I think he just wants to score there and keep moving the chains.
Man, I don't know if Josh is ever trying to move the chains. You know what I mean? There's times, but that's a guy that, like I said, he is aggressive lagger. I mean, he's gonna continue to push for the end.
Now here's the other thing we haven't talked about, is there a lagging end to this board?
Right.
I'm not sure. I didn't play this board yesterday in our practice games. You obviously just got into town today, so pretty unfamiliar. So maybe in between matches we can talk to the players and see if maybe there's a lagging end here. And maybe you can tell the folks at home a little bit what I mean by lagging end.
Yeah, so there's usually, I would say 95% of times on boards that there is an end that lags better than the other end. Whether that means because that end's turned up a little bit, and so as I get into it too, it's just going to catch that high side and just die right in there. And in this game, if you can just pump deuces with your eyes closed, then you're going to take it every single time. There are other sides that would not be considered lagging ends whenever the ends are actually turned down a little bit, to where you get in that deuce and all of a sudden it's kind of picking up speed, or just keeps floating out. And the other thing is one player's lagging in may not be the other player's lagging in.
Right.
You know, some players really like to see a float out. Some people like to throw deuces.
And depending on what style of weights they're using, what brand weights, if they've got loaded caps, their weights could be reacting differently, and that's really what makes this game so challenging. Looks like this might be Jeri's lagging in,
yeah. And so this, you know, you saw her in the first frame. Go ahead, or her first hammer frame, stick for 2, right? And then you see Josh pass up another one. Jeri at that time says, you know what, I probably have a much better feel now for the end of the board.
Right.
These are free lags, right? And that is something that Josh wanted to try to do in games, is against Jeri's hammer, throw ones, deep ones, and 2s. So we'll see. I doubt that he does that again moving forward. So we'll talk about this play, which I really, really like doing this a lot. So that red weight cannot get bumped into a 2. You can't go around it. You can't do anything. If Josh feels like, hey, you know what, this is a lag it in that I just saw her pump a 3. I've already lagged off once going that way. I've already come up short
he
once.
Might just sacrifice that one.
Exactly.
Right.
So now the whole basis of this frame is he gets to lag against 1, which I said is, I mean, for a pro is...
that's definitely a pro move right there. I mean, you know, a lot of... you know, talking about the ratings, 1 and 2 and 3 rated players, you know, aren't thinking that deeply about the game. But that's definitely a pro move right there.
We'll see. Jeri's she's gonna try to. I would imagine she's gonna try to stick this weight and move it to the rail. If she can catch the outside of this weight,
she hopped it. Pretty fortunate there for Josh. Might not see Jeri miss a weight like that the entire tournament.
No. So let's go in and try to put a nice cover in on this weight. It didn't get over. I think her right hand should be open.
Yeah, she can see about half the weight, I think. She's going to have to put a little more speed on it. Came in there very nicely.
The shot. But Josh got what he wanted. You know, out of this frame, it's a win in Josh's book in the sense that now I'm lagging with 1 working. Like, this whole frame was
started with that
set up with the first weight.
Started with that first weight, absolutely.
I mean, it just, and like I said, that's what the top tier pros do better than the next tier, is that shots like that, they think about, hey, where's this game going? What end do I want? And that's a play that you saw as soon as he did it. Jeri turned around and smiled. She knew exactly what he was doing. It's the same move that Jeri will do in a game, right?
Right.
So those are the strategy part that you'll never see a deuce do that out here in Reno.
Right. You know, and if they do, they're probably not going to be a deuce very long.
Right, exactly. The concept of finding times to switch hammers, and when is a really good time based on the score, when's a bad time. You know, Josh felt like that was a great time, and I said the whole thing is putting pressure on her. I would imagine she's going around this way.
Yeah, I would think so. She's got a good feel for that end. And I think Josh really wants her to. I think he wants to try to get the hammer back on this end.
I would say that, other than the fact that he threw a 1 up there, his last frame, and let her lag, knowing that, like, if you're saying that he wants it coming this way?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll talk to him at the end of the game and see. You know, I think he my thought on this is that his mentality at this point is she's got a good feel for the end of the board. Either I'm going to force her to stick for 2. Maybe she'll stick half the time. So he's going to average 1.5 points from her on that end.
This has got to die. That's an aggressive play right there. That's an extremely aggressive play. So that's a play right there that is telling me that exactly what you said. If he wants it this way, that's a play that he's gonna do to try to get it this way. That's the only reason why he would do that. It needs to slow down. Dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, he did. She had a great opportunity to take a pretty commanding lead.
Something.
That look. There's 1,000 words associated with that look.
That's what you call the AER that he gave himself right there. The Aduddel eye roll to himself.
So Jeri just whispered that seems like the board's playing a little slow right now.
Which, if that's the case, and I think it's a little advantage for her, but nothing. Like I said, the weights aren't that different to where one's outweighted. I think they're both pretty. I don't think Josh knew that he hit that weight.
Yeah, I think he thought he missed it.
Yeah. And I think what happened was that it kind of flattened out right there. Right? It didn't keep going that way. I mean, as soon as he threw it, and as out of his hand, whenever I saw it halfway down the board, I didn't think there was a chance that it was going to get into that weight.
Which is going to be really interesting matches going forward. You know, there's going to be a lot of matches played in this Pro Singles on this board, and you know, might see a lot of interesting things happen. Pros, you know, missing weights that they wouldn't normally miss. You know, and there might be some upsets on this board. This board might be a tough board for a lot of the top players.
So here you see Josh lagging against Warren. Like I said, it's for a pro, you can't ask for more because you can go as aggressive as you want. I mean, not as aggressive. You can push, saying, you know what, I'm going 3. I'm pushing for a 3 here. I'm not pushing for a deuce. I'm pushing for a 3. Whereas opposed to 7-7 clean board, now you're saying, all right, let's get a deuce, and if it floats out, it floats out.
Reason being because if he goes off there, he gives up 1 but retains the hammer, which is the last shot. You know, so he can try again the next frame, and you know, really it only costs him 1 point. And in a 7-7 match, you're right, that 1 point's probably less of a disadvantage than lagging that 3 there that gives him a 10-7 lead.
Absolutely, because you feel, I mean, all of us as pros feel that the person we're playing against is going to throw deuces. Right. So whenever we throw 1s, we're already behind the 8 ball.
Right.
You know, it's especially when you have these 2. You know.
Yeah, both great laggers, so you know you can expect the average hammer to be a deuce in a game like this.
So I'd expect here Josh to throw just a deeper 1. Jeri hasn't lagged. I don't believe up until this point hasn't lagged freehand. Right, it's all been crosses.
Yeah,
so now what Josh just took away with that weight is the crosses are gone. Right, like now it's a freehand lag, whichever way she wants to go, but it's going to be a freehand lag, taking her out of what maybe she's been comfortable with. Now, again, both these players, like whether they're lagging freehand or crosses, they're both pretty comfortable with it. Josh is going to tend to lag more freehands. Jeri's going to tend to lag a little more crosses, but it's not at a. You have players across the country that you know this is exactly how they want to lag every time.
Right.
These 2 players aren't, in my opinion, one of those 2 players. Like, hey, we absolutely need to take away this lag because they don't like lagging the other way.
They can lag both ways, yeah.
So here Jeri's trying to create some action. I think Josh is going to take a right hand and just try to stick this weight. It's a good stick now. Jeri may say, you know what? Now let's throw a left and try to get it behind that weight on the rail. See if it works.
See if it falls all the way over there. Oh, fell too far.
And I mean, in all actuality, like no harm, no foul in the sense to where It's not like it closed up anything for her.
No, at this score 11-7, she knows she needs to lag a deuce to get back in this game. She's, whether there's one weight on the board or two weights on the board.
So I think that right there, what Josh just did, throwing, I think he kind of got nonchalant in covering that weight over there. So now instead of him having two, he allowed Jeri to stick that weight on the right rail. Now he's still creating clutter, right, which is great, but he could still be creating clutter with three weights. I mean, two of his weights on the board, right? I mean that you could.
Yeah, at this level, you have to force this caliber of player to aim lag. You can't just let them freewheel. They're comfortable lag. They're gonna kill you all day.
I would say that if Josh lags a two here, this game should be his. I mean, 13-8 lead in a pro match. Whenever you have two laggers like this, 13-8's gonna get you home 9 out of 10 games.
Yeah, unless he makes a huge mental error.
Mm-hmm. So now you will see his strategy completely change. Josh isn't going around this weight. He's just banging. And he's going to go in and try to lag himself a deuce. Now, in Jeri's case, Jeri's not going to let him just lag here. So she's going to put weights out in the middle of the board that she believes if Josh sticks, I can go in there and bury something behind it. Right? Josh, because he can't stick those weights, is just going to bang. Now with Jeri's last weight, she's going to throw a deuce and make Josh. We'll see where that finishes up. Jeri ideally here would love to be able to throw a deuce.
She's got to be going around this.
And
if she gets one in there, I think it's going to be buried.
That left
hand
just
comes back.
coming back too hard.
Yeah.
So it's 13. Josh is going to get on 14. This won't go off the board. So it's going to be deep one. If it floats out into a deuce, great. So the stick that Josh had there, even though he's not necessarily trying to stick that weight, ends up rolling into a spot that was pretty fortunate for him, right? If he sticks that weight and it stays a little closer to the center of the board, now Jeri gets in there left-handed and can bury something, right? What you would have seen, like I said, there is he bangs it off, she throws a two. That's how that frame starts right there. Is if he sticks it in a good spot for her to go around, she's burying it. On a clean board with her last weight, she's throwing a deuce.
Right.
So
she had just indicated, that she was going around that weight, which we knew that
right,
obviously. Right. But with the way that rail breaks in that hard, she really would have had to have, just the perfect speed and the angle. I'm not sure that she could have got one in there.
This is that right hand, which I think is, like I said, probably the best go around on the board. It hangs out on the rail, and Josh has a great left hand. If that gets deeper into that deuce, I think it comes out a little more, and it really, really varies. Josh is lucky that he has a left hand, because have you seen that right hand so far?
Oh, it's awful, huh?
It's been sketchy. It's been pretty sketchy. But that lefty, he's a surgeon with it. A Mill Creek surgeon. It's going to be the end of game one, so you will see that Jeri Willams will have the hammer starting the second game. Just go in there.
Try to cover that weight close, make her shoot a combo.
It's a good shot right there.
She can see about half that weight.
There's where it's coming over. Rail. Pretty flat rail.
I don't think she's shot at one like that, so I think that was kind of a guess.
No.
It's a little bit of frustration, I think, going on right there.
So a little about these two players we had talked. Josh is from Mill Creek, Oklahoma. His home bar, place to play there in Oklahoma is at a place called Full House in Wynnewood. So Gerald Wood owns a bar out there, and that's actually who got Josh starting to play the game.
Have you been there? Have you been?
I have. I
Full
went
House?
to one Memorial Day. The first year that I started playing, I went out there with Mike Taylor, and we went out there and played doubles and played singles and everything out there. Nice place, great people out there, really fun tournament. I believe they have, I can't remember exactly, but I want to say 6 to 7 boards in there at that tournament.
They bring in boards specifically for that tournament? Or
That's
do
a
you think?
good question. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
Josh said that they bring in 2 boards for that tournament.
Okay. So 5 in-house boards all the time, 4 or 5. That's pretty nice.
I believe so.
Pretty great venue for shuffleboard.
Mm-hmm. Some of what we would call Josh's mentors and how he's developed getting to this position is he's played, he said, hundreds of $20 games against one of the players that I think everybody would put on their Mount Rushmore shuffleboard, Bill Melton. So Bill Melton is just not just Oklahoma shuffleboard, just shuffleboard.
I think he's won this Pro Singles tournament 6 times.
I believe him and Daryl both tied for 6 apiece, which is insane.
Bill Melton, great player. Sad to see that he's not here this week.
Let's see what Jeri wants to do here. I would imagine that, like I said, I think she's going to go ahead and play deep, and then try to throw a deuce and see if Josh can score with it. Josh is going to try to stick this weight every time. One of Josh's offensive strategies going into this game was stick as many deep weights as possible. What we consider deep weights, pretty much really deep ones, deuces, threes. Whenever you stick those weights, you do what he just did right there. He controls the frame, right? So now Josh has complete control of this frame. So Jeri can't throw a deuce now at the end of this frame because Josh is going in there. Well, the control just went out the door. So now let's see if
She's going to try to crank one to the rail and maybe get one.
It's going to stay up.
No.
So just
Both players
clean
making
board lag here.
both players making a few mental mistakes there. Neither of them too costly, I'm sure.
It looked like you may have pushed that. It's gone. Man.
So going back to talking about it, looked like that was Jeri's favorite end, and that might not be Josh's favorite end.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen him lag a lot better going this way than the other way so far.
We'll see and what he has in mind here. I think Jeri's going to take this. I don't see any reason why she wouldn't try to bury something in there.
Good call, sir. Boy, these rails are tough.
And I think Josh is going to go. I think Josh is going to go right in there.
They might try to tap it.
Just covering it.
I think he's going to play to try to have 2 on for her hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why it takes so long to think about. didn't see the score, and I didn't see it was his hammer. That was his whispering about it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, things are getting heated in the pro arena. Look out. Yeah, Dave Kaitan's struggling with the newfangled technology of wireless earbuds.
He's not used to.
That was adorable.
Gosh.
Back to the game here. Looks like Jeri's got a natural left-hand shot in there to try to. Oh wow.
So see, right now, if we go into board play, Josh is just board play wise outplaying. Right, I mean he's the one that's getting in there. He's the one that's putting pressure on the other player to make shots, throwing deuces in there, going around weights. His strategy going into this match was to bang and lag, right? But you, at times, if you feel like you have an advantage, maybe you just have an eye for this board a little more than your opponent, then you may say, you know what, we're gonna switch up gears here and start to create some pressure situations. And as of right now, those pressure situations have really been in his advantage. Now, it's 6-2. It's early. I mean, he hits off this way. Jeri lags a deuce. It's 6-4. I mean, or she puts a 3 in there. Like, it's early.
Yeah, this game's not out of control yet.
No.
But on the other hand, this is a really important frame for Jeri. She needs to score here. She absolutely cannot lag off or give up 1 or 2. She needs to score here to keep the game close.
I think they both. So Josh right there is throwing that left hand. He's not trying to stay on the board there. He's throwing the left hand that Jeri has tried to throw over there to see that she really likes this spot. She's going to try to challenge me in this spot. So instead of just throwing that weight off the board,
he wants to learn something there.
I mean, go in there, and if you see your opponent is trying to put a weight somewhere and you're not sure of it, and you have a free weight, without the hammer in a frame, go in there and look at it, practice it, because what may be a left cross for Josh in that situation, maybe that left cross is a little funny, and he can just go up there with the right hand and fire it up the rail. You want to know different ways to hit these weights. And so you saw him right there just say, hey, I need to figure out what's going on here.
And that's really a great tip for the folks at home listening that are trying to learn the game, trying to improve their skills. Maybe if we weren't sitting here talking about the match, people may not realize that that's what's going on. But we're trying to give you folks at home that perspective from a pro player, why they're doing the things that they do. And typically, you will not see a pro player waste 1 weight in the course of a match.
Absolutely.
If they want the weight to go off, they're going to learn something from that weight, that shot. They're going to pick a shot, learn the board, learn the speed. They're gonna take those weights as practice weights throughout the match. Hey, here they are in the middle of the second game, still taking practice weights because that's what they do. They want to know the board better than their opponent.
Yeah, I think this shot right here, it's a funny little spot. I think if it gets, Josh just nuts it, but I feel like if you push that over there, it's going to stay flat, and if you don't get it over there, it's going to stay flat in the middle of the board. Both of them, like I said, just look like they
know that spot pretty well.
Exactly. I thought it'd be a little more difficult, but it looks like.
We saw Josh thought he missed one in that same spot earlier, but looks like he knows that spot pretty well now.
It'll be interesting to see what Josh wants to do here. If he may go with the short weight, he may go really, really deep. It's not going to be anything that she can go around. So you're going to see he opted to go deep here. Again, this game's far from out of hand. I think Jeri just plays this frame. I was going to say a little straight up, but it looks like she
might be trying to
set up on this weight. So, and there's times in games where, again, they have a better feel of what they want to do than what we know, right? Like and so right there, she's starting to create action, try to put some pressure on Josh. Maybe he hops a weight or double sticks a weight or something, and she can have a big frame, thinking that, you know what, the only way to get out of this game right now is I got to make a move now. So.
And notice she went soft at that, making sure that her weight stays on the board. She doesn't care if Josh's stays on the board. She actually likes where it's at. She knows that shot. She knows she can go in there and stick it. Josh tried to create.
I don't know if that's really a good stick for her, in the sense where I don't know what it. Can I get a shot from over the top there of that weight? That is a pretty. I mean, it's deep enough to
it'll
go ahead and go in there and stick it a couple times. I think Josh just covers this weight. It's the last weight, and if Jeri makes a shot, she makes a shot. The most Jeri's getting out of this frame now is, let's say that it's a 1,
maybe 3.
And you can get 4 out of here. You know, if you know that free hand and kind of get the side of that weight and can roll it.
The other thing to think about here is that she's going to probably try to go in there with a free hand.
Right, absolutely.
If she comes back a little bit too far and clips her red weight with the right speed, and these players think about things like this, that she could clip her red weight and it could stay on and go into a 3. She could split her red weight and both weights could go into 3s. You know, she makes the right shot here and has the right speed. A lot of good things can happen here. It just doesn't come back from there.
It's a good try.
And those are some of the bad things that can happen when you.
And like I said, there's times in games where it's just, hey, I got to make a move, right? Like, they're one of the greatest things that Mike Taylor had taught me whenever we first started playing was, like, are you playing not to lose or are you playing to win, right? Like, are you okay getting beat 15-3 if you have a chance of winning, or are you just going to let this game continue to go and lose it 15-10? Right? Like, a loss is a loss, right? Whether it's 15-3 or 15-10, who cares? So, like I said, there's times where you just say, you know what, it's time to get in there and make a move. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Right. But if you have a big frame, now the momentum changes. You know, everything changes from there.
So a little bit about Jeri Willams. So Jeri lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The first place that she played at was called a bar called One Nostalgia in Dallas. It was actually whenever she was in college.
Oh, no kidding.
And so now she plays out of Dallas-Fort Worth at Volcanoes.
What a great venue that is. The Volcanoes, unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's in Hearst.
Right.
But yeah, Volcanoes.
I had the pleasure of going down there between Christmas and New Year's to their holiday tournament down there that Jeri runs, and she did. I mean, just an amazing job. The folks there, great people, very welcoming. Not a hostile environment to walk into, especially for out of towners.
Right.
A
huge place.
A huge place, and that tournament very well run. They did a great job, and really appreciate Jeri's hard work for that, because running tournaments is not easy.
No, I've only ran 2 small ones, and it's a headache.
Yeah,
it's a lot better being on the player side than it is being on the which you know all about.
Agreed.
With your tournament, they're out in at your place. What is it Madison?
Madison Park Bowl, yeah, Madison Heights, the Jimmy the Cop tournament. Yeah, great tournament, but man, I'll tell you what, takes a lot out of me every year, and I enjoy being able to come out to Reno and be out here as a player, a couple of months after that tournament, because yeah, running these are a lot of work, a lot of mental stress, the physical stress of setting the boards up. A lot goes into these things, and again, my hat's off to anybody that runs an event like this. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
Jeri, also her mentors, a couple of her mentors coming along the ranks was Bobby Williams, David Williams Sr., and Bill Melton as well. So
noticing a theme here with the Bill Melton
right, right. Jeri's also the owner of Williams Shuffleboard. So Williams Shuffleboard's been in the Dallas area for 17 years, which is a long time. Being in the shuffleboard business, a lot of what they do is buy, sell, and lease shuffleboards.
Okay.
So there's a lot of the bars across Dallas that have Williams shuffleboards in them.
Okay.
So
you see, I'm sure it's very much a labor of love as well. Playing the sport at a top level and also being able to, make a living, doing what you love. Really, I'm sure she feels very fortunate for that.
One of the other mentors on Josh's side is another pro out of Oklahoma, Brenda Williams, who is Brenda here this year?
I have not seen her. I don't know Brenda that well, to be honest with you. I don't know that I've ever played against her.
So Jeri's gonna just try to pump a 2 or 3 in here. She almost just put a nice little 4 up there that Josh should have had to go after. Ends up trickling off and lags a 1 with it. As like we talked earlier, so this whole frame is Jeri trying to lob weights up there, thinking that she can draw a stick out of Josh and try to bury it. If she doesn't get something, if he doesn't stick anything, then she's going to be trying to throw a deuce in there, do 2 or 3, and try to make him stick to go out here.
Yeah, 13-5. She's got to try to make something happen here. I've seen stranger things happen, but she's got to create some action if she can. Josh isn't going to make it easy on her, that's for sure.
So here you see it's just going to be a deuce. 2, 3, going back to that spot that she was trying to get to earlier. Let's see if she lets it fly. Now, that didn't get over there as hard. I really think that one's going to stay up.
I think that's pretty much where she wanted it.
And now you just...
We'll see if Josh's practice throw at it a couple frames ago gave him the line.
Kind of looks like it's on the left side of it. There you go.
Okay, well, that's exactly what she's looking for. Steal a hammer and see what happens.
I think that's been the first hammer switch in the 2 games. It's been Josh had to stick a 2 going the other way to score, but I think those are the only 2 frames so far in this game that the opposing player had to stick to score on their hammer.
Which is interesting because talking to both players before the match started, that was kind of both in their game plans.
And it's really, like I said, both players want to control frames, right? And so you want to do that, and you want to go and throw. You want to be able to throw a deuce, but then if the other player's just sticking weights, then that goes out the window, right? You did, because at the end of the day, if the player that has a hammer is constantly sticking weights, then you're in no position to go and throw a deuce or a three whenever they have one on the board and then them sticking for 3 or 4.
Right.
So.
So again, no matter what the game plan is going into the match, you have to make the adjustments as you go. You know.
This is an interesting weight by Joshua here.
Looks like he's trying to take his.
Is this her last weight?
Trying to make her leg free hand. Yeah, he didn't want to let her leg the crosses, that's for sure.
Yep.
She showed him that I can leg freehand. You can block my crosses, I can leg freehand.
Colleen, are you in here? You are? Go see John.
The game next to us. All right, let's get right back into board 12 here. So this is what you dream of, being down 13-7, right? Is, hey, let's finally we can force some action. Let's try to get something in there.
Looks like she put a good pass shot in there.
Now, for Josh, obviously he wants to pick out this red weight. But what he doesn't want to do is also have that blue weight on the board if he happens to hop the red weight, right? So you can't miss that on the high side. If you're going to miss it, you're going to miss it on the low side.
Right.
Get your cover out of the way. Make her cover 2 more times. And just keep giving yourself chances. What you can't, the mistake that you cannot have there is to try to get cute with something, throw a free hand, hop everything, throw it hard up the rail, hop everything, and then now it's just getting buried, and now points are just accumulating.
So speed control is very important. Shot selection, very important in that situation. See what Jeri does here.
There's a couple options here. Is you combo the blue weight into your red weight and stick, but you have to throw it in order to stick that blue weight. You're not just throwing a straight combo on it. So that completes our first match